everyone. Good evening. Welcome to workshop number 2. And thank you for spending your Friday night with us. So I'd just like to ask, can you please answer in the chat box, what are you excited to do this weekend? Because it's Friday, y'all. So we want to know what are your plans? What are you looking forward to over the weekend? So please try and answer in the chat box. Tonight, it's gonna be like a very exciting night. We're gonna learn about how to build an on-demand live on a live build session, an on-demand delivery app. Jojo says, what are you excited to do this weekend? Free, as in free. Okay. So Carlo is excited that he's doing nothing. Yay. Jaya is excited that she's doing dramas. Marissa is gonna sleep. Jojo is gonna learn. Mara is going to the beach this weekend. And Janine's baby is the baby stay out of Jameen. Chameen says it's time to draw. Naomi, drink coffee, Carlo, travel. Okay, looks like a lot of us have really very exciting plans this weekend. So, but before that, we have to actually be productive and learn something tonight on a Friday night. Yay! Okay. Wow. Jennifer is excited to swim and Iris is excited to clean the house. Okay. I think that's interesting. Being excited to clean the house. Okay. So before we get started, just a few reminders. So as usual, there will be 3 no-code PH shirts to be given away. So please stay until the very end so that you can win the no-code PH shirt. And then, so I just want to welcome everyone. So it's workshop number 2 of our challenge with Adalo, the live build session, building an on-demand delivery app with Erik Goins, the founder of Flywheel Studio. So some ground rules. First, please be kind and respectful to everyone and engage by commenting and asking questions in the box. So we like engagement, okay? Most of all, of course, we want you to have fun. Okay, so now we let's learn more about our speaker, who is the founder of Flywheel Studio, and I'm really excited to learn from him. Like I mentioned to him in the in the room earlier, he's one of my Twitter idols, and he's like a successful. Very successful no-code agency owner. So he's the founder of Flywheel Studio, a software development agency that specializes in no-code and low-code platforms. So Flywheel is an Adalo expert agency and works on apps a year for clients around the world. So guys, you know that Erik knows his Adalo stuff, okay? And apart from this, it's not mentioned in his bio, but he's done a lot of great initiatives, like for example, Build Sell 30. If you're familiar with that, it's a very popular initiative where you build, sell in 30 days a no-code or a no-code app. So definitely check that out. So Erik, let's ask a few questions to our speaker before we start the workshop. Erik, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Crystal.
Yeah, and thank you. We're really excited to have you here. So I just want to ask, what did you have for dinner? Because like you're in Thailand right now, right?
I am in Thailand. I had some local barbecue.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Like spicy Thai barbecue.
Spicy Thai barbecue. It was not any babi guling or anything too special, but it was nice.
Oh, okay. That's so cool. And I forgot to ask you this, but you're a digital nomad in Thailand right now, but where are you originally from again? Sorry.
I'm from the US.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Where exactly? Sorry, I just wanted to ask.
I'm from Michigan, if anyone knows where that is. It's cold there.
Oh, okay. I think everyone knows like Michigan, the state, but like we probably don't know much like of the geography. But yeah, thank you for letting us know. Yeah. So I'll let you I guess I'll let you get away for now. Thank you for answering my questions.
Absolutely. So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope everyone can follow along on your laptop at home. My one real request here is that you ask questions in the chat while I'm doing this. I absolutely do not want to talk for 2 hours to a silent Zoom call. So please ask questions as we're doing this. Today's goal is that I'm going to show you how to build a delivery app on Adalo. The biggest part of this I'm going to focus on is the Adalo databases, okay? So we're going to start from an empty Adalo app here. And let me share my screen. Crystal, can you confirm that you can see that?
Yes.
Perfect. So I created this project specifically for this call. There is nothing here except for the standard screens that Adalo creates for us. So the first thing that we are going to do is, well, let's talk about what Adalo's done. For people that aren't super familiar with Adalo, they've created 3 basic screens here for us, a sign up screen, a login screen, a home screen. And we can see that they've already done a few things for us. So this sign up screen is noted as a welcome screen. So that means that it's going to be the first screen a user will see if they're not logged in. And then this third screen here is already set to be a home screen. And that means that it's the first screen a user will see when if they are logged in, right? So everyone should know this from their own mobile apps. Adalo's also done a few things for us in terms of sign up and login. They have already handled the user sign up and the user logins for us. And those go straight to our built-in integrated Adalo database. Let's talk about the point of a delivery app and some of the different things that we're going to have in our database. And while we're doing it, I'm going to add collections to this. Collections are kind of like a file drawer or a data type, okay? So the first thing that we have is anytime you have users doing pretty much anything in an app where they're purchasing things, you're going to have a collection called orders, okay? An order has a name, okay? We're going to actually kind of not use this field, so don't really worry about it. But every order has a date, time, okay? I like to name my fields kind of like this in Adalo. Another popular naming style is like this, but for Adalo, I normally just name mine like this. So we're going to have a date, time property. And that is going to be the date time of the order itself. Next, we're going to have a status. Since I have this field here that I'm not really using, I'm just going to name that status. We're going to have a relationship to users. So every user can have multiple orders. An order belongs to one user. Adalo makes this really easy. So it's pretty easy to kind of work through the relationships that you can have here, but it's really, really important that you get it right. This is where a lot of people have difficulty building apps because they choose the wrong relationships here. The best thing you can do is read it out loud and make sure it makes sense. So a user can have multiple orders. An order has to belong to one user, okay? Let's add some more things to this that I think are important. So every order is going to have an order total, okay? So that's going to be the total bill for that user. And let's also just add a few other things that we might have. So like a line item total. So when you purchase things, you normally have a total for the goods that you purchased. And then you normally have a tax amount. And all these are numbers because they are, these are going to be obviously currencies in our app. And I think this is really all I need for our orders. Actually, you know what? We need a few more things here. We need an address. There we go. Now, if you think about this, so a user can have orders, you know where the order is going, you know the date, time of the order, you know the person who purchased it, the amount of goods they purchased into tax, which goods plus tax equals the total, but you don't know what they bought and you don't know who they bought it from. So we know that there's a few more things we need to add here. So let's add another collection called line items. These are the items that are actually going to go into the orders itself, okay? So now that we're here, we can kind of actually see a few more things that we might need to do even before we get too much further, okay? So we can see orders, we see line items, but we also need to know what business these people, what the users are purchasing from too. So we need some businesses on our platform as well. So let's start with businesses and then we'll work our way back to line items. So every business has a name, and let's give them some other details and things that are helpful for them. So they probably have a logo. Maybe they have a phone number. They can have something like, a website. They can have, they could have open hours and stuff. Let's keep it simple though. So we'll just leave these here. And then every business is going to have an owner. So again, an owner is a user. It's somebody who's in the application, somebody who uses it. So let's say so there's going to be a relationship between the businesses and the users. A user can have multiple businesses. A business belongs to one user. That is one option. The option I'm going to choose here, though, is the second one. And this is an example of where you have to make a decision about your app and think about how you want it to work. Can users only have one business? Can users have multiple businesses? Maybe you need a many-to-many. I'm going to say a user can only have one business, and a business can have multiple users. And that way, if you're a user on the app, you can have multiple people helping manage your business. So maybe you have staff members as well, or team members on that work for you, employees. So let's go with this one. We really could choose any of these. It's just slightly different design things that could impact you later, but this one will work for our purposes. Now, I'm going to call this employees because that'll be really easy for us to differentiate. So now that we've got a business, they have their name, the logo, some information about them and their employees. Businesses sell things. So let's have a collection called products. Every product has a name. That's pretty obvious. Let's give each product an image. That way users can kind of tell the differences between products. And for this example, we'll just call this main image. And each product will probably have a description. And then most certainly is going to have a price. A little trick for people, I'm not going to do this in this example, but another trick for people building apps is put a Boolean in here, which is a true or false property, and call it available or call it visible. This is a kind of a little secret, because one thing about your app is you rarely ever want to delete data that's kind of what we consider reference data. So like products or places, things like that, you normally don't want to delete those things. You might want to take it out so users can't pick it, but you want to keep them because users have relationships to these things, like users purchase products. So you want to maintain this relationship. So this is a good way of doing that while also removing it from the app. I'm going to delete this. We're not going to get that far into it. So now we have our businesses, and businesses have products. Okay. So we need to make that relationship here. So let's go to products. And a product can have multiple businesses. A business belongs to one product. That is definitely not the case. A product can only have one business. A business can have multiple products. That sounds right. You go to a restaurant, you open a menu, only that restaurant is selling those menu items. But at the same time, they can sell multiple menu items. So let's add that. And if you didn't know this, a little note here is, first off, Adalo will add the relationship to the other collections as well. So we didn't add anything here. Adalo added this business relationship for us. Another little hint is, you see how there's only one icon here? It's a single icon. That's because you could only have one business related to this product. But if we go to businesses, you can see it's kind of like a double icon. That's because a business can have multiple products. And that means that this is a list, okay? So I think we're getting about halfway there. So let's go back to our line items. And so we have a name here for these. We're not really going to use this, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a relationship to products. And the way, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So follow on along with me. A product can have multiple line items. A line item belongs to one product. In the rephrase this, a product can be purchased multiple times. Each time it's purchased, it belongs to one order. This is the one that we're looking for here, okay? So this is the relationship of where you can buy a product multiple times, but anytime you buy it, it belongs to one order, okay? So we've got a relationship to our product. I'm going to change this and just call this product name. And then we're also, for our sake, we're going to add the price here as well, okay? There's a reason for that. We'll come back to it, okay? Now, we've got our orders and we've got our line items, okay? We didn't build in any relationship to that yet, so let's add one. So we're going to go to relationship orders, and an order can have multiple line items. So if you go to a restaurant, you buy a few things, you can buy multiple things, but every time you buy something, it belongs to one order. Okay, now we've got our line items and those roll up into our orders. And then I'm going to add one more thing here. So this is the user that purchased the order. I'm going to add one more thing, and we're going to call this driver. So I did say it was going to be a delivery app. I'm hoping we have enough time to get through all this because it is quite extensive, but every order should have a driver, okay? Now, for the rest of this, I'm kind of going to go a little bit quick. So first, I'm going to stop. Does anyone have any questions about the database? Can you repeat the driver? Yep. So Janine, every order, because it's a delivery, should have one driver who's going to pick that order up. So if you order delivery, somebody will go and pick that up. We want to make sure that we know who picked that order up so we can tell them, like, hey, you're driving this order, you need to drop it off, and they can manage that order. Before I go any further, are there any other questions about the database? Hop in the chat. I am checking it and reading, so. All right, it seems not. Okay, so let's get into the app itself now, okay? The first thing is we have a few different sides of the app here. And this is a really cool app to work on here and share with you because there's so many different aspects to this. So, the first one is we have users. This is people like you and I who are going to go and purchase products in the app. We also have businesses and business owners and their employees. So they need a way to manage things in the app. And then we also have drivers. So this is like a triple-sided application. I'm not sure how far we'll get into all of those different things, but we will definitely see how far we can get. Okay, so I have 2 more questions before I get started. Is it possible to prepare these databases title through Excel? You could do it in Excel. You can use any database visualization software you want. One way to think about it is that if you built an Excel sheet that managed all of these, each of these would be a tab in Excel. And then each of the properties within a collection would be a column header. Okay, so you could do this there. You cannot import it, but it should give you a good idea of what you need to do to set up your database. Jennifer asked, does Adalo have an ERD feature where you can see an overview of the database? Not exactly. So you can see the database collections here, and you can click into each of them. You can also open the database here and see some of the data and go in and you can add data through these forms. But they don't have like a SQL visualization software, if that's what you're asking, Jennifer. So, all right, let's move on. So I'm going to go very fast here. Please stop me if you have any questions, okay? And I'm also, just for the sake of time, going to use a lot of native things in Adalo. So in some scenarios, you can use custom lists and do a lot of really cool stuff. I won't always do that though, because there's just too much to do here. All right, so let's get started. So a user logs in. What is the first thing they need to see? Let's just add a nav bar. And I'm always forgetting what all of these things are in Adalo. So let's go to navigation, a tab bar. Adalo does a great job, literally builds this for us. Let's think about what tabs we want. So we definitely need a home screen. I think it's cool to not have text here. I think people can figure it out. So you can do whatever you want. We should definitely have a search screen. Okay. And we probably want like an orders screen. So let's see if we can find something for an order. I think that looks good. And let's have a profile screen, but I don't really like that one. I prefer this one myself. Okay. And then this fifth one, let's hide that because we don't need it. Awesome. So we've got a few things here, okay? And just so everyone knows, I'm not gonna do any branding or anything. You can change that yourself here. I really don't like these fonts though, so I will change them. I just prefer personally more of like a Montserrat. We could do, no, definitely not that. Let's do like a Roboto. That'll be nice. Okay. So we're not going to do any branding or anything here. So the first thing users should see, I think, is any open orders right at the top of their page. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to filter this to the logged in users orders. Okay. And then I'm going to add another filter here to the status. I'm going to call this in progress. We don't have this in our database. I like to use text statuses myself. So for statuses here, I am thinking the ones that we would use would be draft. Let me just send this in the chat. So the statuses I like to use are draft, in progress, and delivered. cancel. A little secret here is write these out like the way that you would want a user to see them. So don't do it like this, because then you can't show the user the status, okay? So I'm gonna filter this to the status being in progress, okay? And I'm gonna have the name just be like the date, time that the user purchased this. I'm gonna change the format to be something that kind of makes sense. Order. And then what I'm gonna do is for the subtitle, I'm gonna just put the order amount. I'm gonna make that a currency so that it, it makes sense. And then I'm gonna remove this left section, okay? Because we don't really have images. So this way, when a user logs in, if they have an order that's in progress, it's like the first thing they see, okay? Now, if you don't have anything here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show some businesses here at the bottom. First, I'm gonna make our page larger. And I'm just gonna add a whole list here of businesses. Again, we're not gonna get super specific. We wanna keep it really easy. So Adalo has already helped us out a bit. So we've got a business name. Why don't we just add a business category too? So let's add business categories. That way people can kind of tell the difference between businesses, and let's give the businesses a relationship between categories. So a business can have one category, and a category can have multiple businesses, right? And let's add that as a subtitle. So let's add that business category. And we have to, so this is the first time we're doing this in this example. So we have to go to what Adalo calls a flyout. We're gonna go here and we're gonna choose that business category name, okay? In this image, definitely should be the business logo. And we're gonna hide the body because I don't think it makes sense to show a whole business description down here, okay? Now we've got a home page, okay? And I'm actually gonna go and show you some Adalo resources. So the first thing we're gonna do is go to Adalo, and what we're gonna look for is clonable kits. I use these, which means you should use these. They are great, and Adalo definitely helps us out. I love the details screen. I literally just copy this directly, okay? So you can go clone this, all right? And Adalo is gonna just pop open this app for you and do all the hard work. Okay, so let's clone this. I've got to put it in my team. Not too much going on. A little bit too much for my computer. Let's try this again. Oh, might be working. Wow, I'm waiting for this to humbly load. Does anyone have any questions?
Hi guys, don't be shy. Please ask your questions in the chat box.
Please do. Oh, there we go. So the clonable kits in Adalo, there's a bunch here. Definitely go through these. They are super easy to use and very, very very, very helpful. So let's go in and find, I already have one I really like. I recommend that you click preview here and go check which one you like. But I'm gonna just go pick this one that they have labeled copy this. And what I'm doing here, you can't really see it, but I am Control C. I am going to just Control V and it will just go right into my app. Okay, so I've got 2 questions here from Vanderbrits. Will also show real-time GPS tracking of delivery. The answer is no. There's no GPS in Adalo today. I will give you a little secret though. You can go to ideas.adalo.com and you can see everything the Adalo team is working on. So if you go to their roadmap here, you can see in progress device location. It's like the biggest requested feature anyone has for Adalo. So they're definitely working on it. And you can see Josh Johnson is the head of product there. He's a super cool dude, and you can see everything that they're working on. So hopefully soon. How do you differentiate drivers versus users? Is there a flag on users or something? Great question. I will get to that. We're not going to do it quite yet because I like to work piece by piece on by the different sides, and then I'll show you how we can differentiate them. Okay. Let's go back to our screen here, and I'm going to call this business details. I personally have like a few different screen types. So you have like home, profile, messages maybe, or search or something like that. And then I always have list screens. So like business list, products list, people list, whatever. And then behind that, you always have a details screen. So business details is going to be the details of one business. And so let's just connect that up right here. And we're going to link to the business details. Okay. So this is our first time really linking a screen because all of the other screens, Adalo did all that hard work for us. So this is a big deal for us. First, you can pick any transitions you want, play around with it. I'm going to leave all of these as push, even to be honest, I prefer none, but personal preference. And you can see that Adalo is telling us exactly what it is sending to this screen. So when the user clicks this button, they're going to go to the business details screen and they're going to send that current business. So if you search for Erik's ice cream and you see Erik's ice cream, if you click on Erik's ice cream, you will go to Erik's ice cream, the page. Now, let's edit our page here, okay? I am not going to get into reviews, so we're just going to delete these, but you definitely can do reviews on your own. What we're going to do is make this the category. Remember that category, that business category we added earlier? We're going to add that again. We're going to change this image to be the current business logo. Good practice here, never leave anything as image 22, because when you're looking at this and you're just looking at all of these things here, if you don't label your stuff, it is going to be a nightmare, okay? So always label your stuff. So what we're going to do is call this business, call it logo image, it's fine. Let's make sure our button goes back, which we should just call this back icon or something similar. And let's change this to be the business name. So current business name. Okay. We added a few pieces of information here. So let's use that. So this is this can be the phone number. And here is a little secret. What we're going to do is add an action here, okay? And this is going to link you to a website. And what you're going to do is type PEL, and that current business phone number. Now, if somebody clicks this, it will open up the phone pad on their phone and they can dial that number. Little helpful trick there. This is going to be that user's or that business's website. So let's add that here. And we're going to do the same thing here. But again, this makes a little bit more sense. If you click a website link, you should go to the current business website. I don't really have anything here, so we're just going to straight delete those. We're going to call this description. We don't need this button. That can go. Let's bring this up. I'm using a few different shortcuts here. You guys will probably learn this very quickly yourself, but kind of like a select all and then a shift and up arrows. I'm going to make this a group, and this is just going to be our description group. Sorry, I'm clicking on too many things at the same time here. Okay, let's get in here and let's add the current business. Oh, I thought we had a description here. Did we change that? Let's make sure we add a business. We did not add a business description. We added it to our products. So let's go in. Let's just add a description so that they can have one. I like to order my database like this too. It's just helpful for me visually. You can do it however you would like. Let's go in and add current business description. Boom, we are done. Now, we can get rid of all of these other little things. This pesky one that doesn't want to be clicked. Let's get this up here. And I think it is time to add our next list, okay? And what I'm going to do is add a list. Let's see what we could do. We'll do another card list. Okay, and this is going to be products. So again, kind of trying to do a better job here, product card list. And this is going to be a list of products, but we do not want to show all products, okay? And the reason for that is because you will see things, you'd see every product on the platform. So you would see Jollibee chicken while you're looking at McDonald's, and that makes no sense. So we're going to filter it to the current business products, okay? And Adalo makes that super easy. I am going to sort this from A to Z, okay? You could put a limit on the number of items too if you want. But let's add a title here. Let's call this products. And again, every product has a name. Let's give it a price. We want to make sure that is a currency. Okay. Every product has an image. And I'm going to hide the body. No need. Great. Are there any questions about creating the business details page? We did that super quick. Anyone got any questions? Okay, I will keep going then. All right. So we've created businesses, we have created products, or actually, sorry, we created businesses. We did not create products really, okay? So I'm just gonna go in here and see if there's anything I really like and wanna use. Our products are pretty simple, so I think I'm gonna keep it simple on that. Let's just use this product here. Add this here. And the way I like to do this is I'm going to put these businesses here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is this. We need to name this product details. Okay. And this will link to product details. That way you will get the current product over here, which is pretty crucial. So let's pick the current product image. Okay. Sorry, I keep doing too many shortcuts. All right, so we've got product details. We have added the product image. Let's change this to the product name. Okay. Let's make this the price. Let's make sure that's a currency. And let's make this the description. Just a little note, Adalo, when you do a currency, does have other currency types, okay? But you don't have to always do it like that. So if you want to do like a USD, but put a PH in front of it, you can do it like this, right? So I used to live in Hong Kong, so normally we'd do HK or HKD, and that would put that in front. So that's another helpful little trick. Now let's add this to add to cart. Okay. And we should probably change this little icon here because that is not what we want. We want to add it to our cart. Now, anyone who's really paying attention right now knows we don't have a cart. That is a problem. If a user were to click this button, what would happen? Pretty much nothing. So let's go back to our database. And I'm going to keep this really, really, really simple here. There are a lot of different ways to do carts and cart management. We do not even have time for all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually kind of going to skip having a cart, and we're just going to go straight into ordering. Okay. And what this is going to do is just create an order. Okay. The reason for this is that if we get into a cart, then you need a lot of cart management. And one tricky thing about apps like this is that you rarely do you want people to order from more than one business at a time. Okay, there's a lot of different reasons for that, between payments, logistics of delivery. What if one business cancels the order and the other one doesn't, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to make everything you purchase here just be like one item for one purchase. So the first thing is we're going to have this be a draft status. Okay. Now you're going to note that we don't have an address here. So we're going to leave the address blank for right now. And that date time is going to be right now. Okay. And we want to make sure, actually, you know what? Just double check this. So for our orders, okay, date time is a date time. Okay, so we want to make sure that this is set like this. User is the logged in user because of course they are the one who is doing this. The line item total is going to be the current product's price. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are using that price there, and I'll call that a currency, even though it doesn't really matter at this point which one we're using. The tax, this is kind of up to you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some US sales tax because that is what I know. So we're going to do current price times 0.07. Okay, which means our order total is going to be price times 1.07. Okay, and you can do this dynamically too. So it doesn't have to be hard coded in the app like this. You could use it through magic text and references, but for our simplicity, we're going to do this. And the line items is going to include the current product. Okay. But we cannot add it here. So 1 second, and driver is going to be blank too. All right, so let's go back and see. So sometimes Adalo doesn't really like it when you do this, but what we can do is we can actually reference this update. We can update the new order, and we can add, it does not want me to be able to do that. You know what? I am silly. I get it now. Okay, so what we need to do is we actually need to create a line item. That's what I missed. So we're going to create a line item as well. It's going to be our product name with our current product's price. We're going to add that current product, and we're going to add the new order to that line item. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Now, so where we are now, we have a home screen. Users can see some businesses here, and they can go to a business, they can see some products, they can go to our product and purchase it. And so now we need some kind of little checkout here. So I'm going to just steal this screen here. Maybe I should call it borrow. And I'm going to add it right into our app. Okay. And this is going to be called checkout. Copy this. We'll call it checkout. Okay. And what we're going to do is take all of these things here. This is going to be a little bit crazy, so follow along with me and let me know if you have any questions. We're going to call this line item group. Okay, and then we're going to make this a list. Adalo will let you make anything a list. Okay, you can literally start with anything and make it a list. So we're going to make this a list, and boom, done for us. Adalo has created this, and what this is going to be is we're going to take this button here, and this is going to link to our checkout. So now on our checkout, we have that current order that we need. We're going to make this a list of line items, and we're going to filter it to the current order line items. Now let's add some functionality to this. So this is going to be our current line items product image, right? So for every line item, you should see that image. So let's call it that. Okay, each thing is going to, let's just have a price here. So current line items price. And for some reason, Adalo is throwing in all these empty spaces. So let's, I think it happens when I click delete. Anyway, so here's the product name. And then let's add a action to link to product details, okay? Oh, that won't work. So you know what, actually, we're just gonna end up deleting this for now. We don't need that. Okay. Now, obviously, if you've got like a big X in the corner, you should probably have that delete that line item. So I'm just going to call this delete icon. And what we're going to do is if you click that, we will delete the current line item. Cool. We've got like practically a whole checkout thing here. So we've got total before taxes. So let's add our current order line item total. Remember that one? It definitely came in handy. We've got taxes here. So we've got the perfect line item for this as well. So let's add taxes in. Okay, again, we're going to call this currency and we're going to do the order total. I am not going to get into payments. This whole payment thing here is fake. It is not real. So do not think that you can actually purchase something here. Adalo has built-in Stripe payments. We are not going to go through those today. But let me take a quick break. I've been talking for about 40 minutes now. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I think like the audience like is kind of like quiet. So maybe we can like maybe talk more about Adalo. So like you mentioned that like for example the payment here is fake, right? But there is like a Stripe component, right? Yeah, do you want to walk us through the Stripe component? Although actually Stripe is not available yet in the Philippines, but
Stripe is coming to the Philippines, so I'm sure everyone will be excited when that happens, but you were right, it is not in the Philippines yet.
Yeah, well, like so but if they wanted to build an app here in the Philippines, Complab, which is also another Adalo expert agency here in the Philippines, they do have like a Paymongo component, custom component. So if you're interested, guys, in like accepting payments using Adalo and you want like a Philippine payment gateway, that's something I would recommend. So complab.io is their website, and you can definitely buy their Paymongo plugin. So I guess I'm not sure if Eric, if you're familiar with Paymongo. It's sort of like Stripe here in the Philippines, and it was actually Stripe actually invested in Paymongo. Yeah.
I did hear that, and I believe you have one of the founders from CompLab coming on in the next few days, right?
Yes, Dim is gonna talk about PWAs and business development in April 15th. Yeah.
That'll be awesome. CompLab is certainly one of the best developers on the Adalo platform.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Especially for custom components.
Yeah, they're also cool, and they're also like very much active in the no code page community. Yeah. So, like so maybe I could like interview you, since like it seems like the audience tonight is like kind of like quiet. So what's like your process like in like Flywheel? Because like here you immediately like jumped on Adalo, but like
yeah,
so what's like your usual development process? Because like like our challenge, most of the people here are participants in our challenge and like hackathon participants, and one of the questions that they usually ask is like how do I start developing on Adalo? Like, what's the first step? Like, do I just immediately jump in on Adalo, or do I plan the first? Yeah, so I think that's something that would like really help them, I guess.
That's a great question. So I'll tell you two things. Okay, first I'll tell you how we do it today, and then I'll tell you what I'd recommend. So today, one of the first things we would do with a client is we would probably start doing what we call low fidelity wireframes. And so those low fidelity wireframes are things where it's just generic design about kind of what the app would look like it's almost like if you drew it on a sheet of paper. That is where I would start for anyone who's thinking about building an app. Draw all of the screens that you think that you need and what would be on those screens. Everything here should be very easy to think about and see and say, okay, yeah, of course, in a checkout, you should be able to see the items you want to purchase, things like that. And then what we do is we start, you can see all my tools here. Oh, actually, you can't see my entire screen. So sorry, but on the side of my laptop, I've got Figma. And then we also use a Kanban board, which is a kind of like a project management tool. We use ClickUp, but I'd recommend just using Trello or Airtable. And what you should do is break out all of the screens and different things you need, put them in a list on there, and then work through that list and really use that to manage your project to make sure that everything is getting done and that you're not missing things. And then it's also really great to see things moving across that board and finishing. From your high level design and that board, you should be able to kind of see the database and the structure that you need for your data, kind of like what we showed earlier. So I think that would be really helpful. And then another thing I really love is for people who haven't used it, I really recommend Dribble. It's kind of where I go for my design inspiration. So you can go and see just really well-designed mobile apps. So for your competition, it's really great to go in here and just see something. And then for the most part, we can take anything from this and we can actually build this in Adalo. So it's very cool, and I really recommend that.
Oh, that's very interesting. Like at Estel, we kind of like have a different process, but it's also very, very interesting to like learn from you, like what you do. So like I guess like my next questions will revolve around like coming up with like good ideas for the no code hackathon, because like a lot of the participants, they have an idea, but like like they're always asking like, is my app idea like given with Adalo as the tech stack, is it possible? Is it like where do I start? Like, do I start with an idea or like what Adalo is capable of? Like, like most of them, like it's only been like I think 2 weeks since we started the workshop. No, 1 week since we started the workshop. So most of them are still in idea stage. So do you have any like maybe tips or like maybe like suggestions regarding like how they should form an idea given that Adalo is the tech stack?
I would really keep it really simple, the idea that you're looking for. Adalo is a lot more powerful than people think, and than even people give it credit for. And I also think that there's a lot of workarounds that make things possible. So to give an example, I've had a lot of people come to me and say, Adalo doesn't have GPS, therefore I cannot build a delivery app on Adalo. And I would really challenge that. Like, I just genuinely do not think that that is true. Uber started as a text message service. There was no GPS or anything like that. Uber proved it was possible even before, before they had a mobile app. I think the same thing is true for a lot of other applications where people think that there's some feature or features that are absolutely required. That just probably is not the case. So my recommendation is start really small. If you hit any barriers in terms of things that you're not sure that you can do, or maybe you just cannot do them, then just go around those and find another way. I think people get too caught up in particular features and things. I think that, have a really small idea that you can do really well, and just execute on delivering that.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Yeah, like for our challenge participants. I have like, there's like a couple of questions in the chat, but I have like a sort of like follow-up question, which is like you mentioned that there are workarounds. Like, what are the best, like in your personal opinion, the best resources that Adalo has currently? Like, for example, like me personally, I just Google and like I try my best, like look in the forums, for example. But like given that, you know, like local tools like Adalo have like limitations and like they're not you like you mentioned, you have to come up with like certain workarounds. Like, what is your best advice for like when they hit, like for example, like a challenge that, or like a particular uh feature that they're not able to like do?
Yeah. So this is a three-part thing. First, anytime I have an issue, I would first always go to the Adalo forum. I know everyone, and this might hurt somebody's feelings, I know everyone thinks they're special, but somebody has probably had this problem before. So it's probably not the first time that it's been a problem, and there's probably some conversation in the Adalo forum. It's a very active forum. I try to be active there. I know a lot of the other experts do as well. So that's the first place I'd go, and I would see if somebody has asked about that in the past. And if not, I'd post your question there. YouTube can be really good as well. So I post a lot of videos on YouTube. I know there's a lot of other Adalo videos on YouTube. And then lastly, if you have any questions, email me. Seriously, you can go to our website. There's a form on there, just submit it, and you can ask me or other experts questions. And we will always do our best to just reply and help. I think all of the experts really, I mean, obviously Crystal is putting this on for everyone. So that should really be go to show exactly how dedicated we are to making sure that that the community benefits.
Yeah, I like what you said about like the Adalo community, like just being there to help. Like I feel like Adalo has one of the communities. And on that note, Krisha has a question. Does Adalo have integration to automatically send text messages?
Good question. So no, because that's not necessarily an integration. So I'll show you two things. So first off is you can, here we did this external link to tell. What you can do is you could do this to SMS, okay? And there's a whole thing online about how you can preload this, but basically this would open up SMS for the user with that phone number, and then they could send a message. Your other option is that you could do an integration with Twilio, but my recommendation would probably just be use SMS.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I think like what they're trying to do is like maybe like automatically send. Yeah, like I think like that's what's Ray on that note, Ray was asking about Zapier or Make / Integromat.
Yeah, so Ray, yep, you can absolutely use Zapier or Make. They have their own integrations with Adalo and their own guides to how to do that. Adalo comes with a built-in API that you can access here in the database. It's super easy to use. And they produce great documentation for that database. That is super easy. So you can see here, you'll need some of this, like the app IDs. This is like the app ID here. You'll need that. But anyway, Zapier and Integromat they both have really good docs on how to do that connection. I see one about Adalo apps that are in Google Play. I'll show you two ones that are public that we've done. So this is one that just launched, and I don't think it's on Google Play yet. So this is their website though, so obviously not the mobile app. Let me see if this is a picture of the mobile app. I don't think, maybe they don't have a link to it on their website, but you can probably go find it in the Apple App Store. Let me see if I can find it really quick. It's not Airbnb. Okay, maybe we won't find that one, but you can search for that one. That one looks really, really stellar. I think the other one is currently.io. No. So Spark Charge is another one that we built an app for. So you can go and see on the Currently app. It's currently.app. And you can go to either of the app stores and see it there. This company does on-demand electrical vehicle charging. So, sorry, my app store is opening. And you can download that app. Not sure if it's available internationally or not, but if you have a US app store, you can download that. So I see Dion said, can Adalo trigger push notifications? The answer is yep. So you can, so let's say on sign up, the first thing you're going to want to do to integrate this is go to notifications and request permission. Okay, you cannot push notifications to somebody who doesn't require, who has not authorized the permission. And then what you could do is when a new order comes in, for example, what we can do is we can do a trigger notification, and we're going to do it to users. This is a little bit weird. Users all, and then we're going to add a filter though to businesses, users all. Actually, so what we want to do is businesses, users, forgot exactly how to do this, but anyway, you can figure it out, and what you can do is just say new order, and you can put some information in, like maybe the current time or something like that, and you can take them to their home screen. Okay, so you can figure out the best way to do that. Maybe current business users. There you go. So current business users, that'll go to all of the people who are on that business, and they'll get a nice notification. Krisha said, if there are features that we can't do at the moment, can it be done programmatically inside Adalo? In short, it depends. Sure, there's some things that probably you can't do in Adalo right now that you could do externally, like through a make or a Zapier, but it's very, very use case specific. So if you share some more information, I can try and help.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think you kind of like missed one question from Malvika, which is, hi, Eric, can you talk more about Adalo for building desktop apps? What's a good benefit for using this?
Good question. Okay, so this is a little bit tough, difficult to answer, and in short, it really depends. If you are building just a single web app and it's only a web app, I would probably not do it on Adalo, to be honest. I would probably do it on Bubble or something else. If it's a very simple app, I think you can do it on Adalo, and there are people who have made amazing web apps on Adalo. I'm just personally not one of them. I have a hard time designing for web on Adalo. Now, where we do make a lot of things for Adalo is on the web is we do a lot of admin portals. So for something like this, where we've just built this entire mobile app, not the entire, but where we built a mobile application, businesses would probably want some way to manage their orders online. So what we do is then build a web app for this, and Adalo will let you share a database across multiple apps. And because you can copy and paste between things, it's really easy to replicate the same experience across, a mobile app and a web app. So if you already have a mobile app on Adalo and you need a web app, I would probably say that's okay. If you do not have a mobile app on Adalo and you want to build a web app, then I would say it depends.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Yeah, so does anyone have any other questions? Does anyone have any because I could ask a lot of things all day, guys. So like maybe you guys want to have know something about Adalo, especially our challenge participant. I feel like now is your best chance to ask from Erik what regarding apps. So maybe I could ask things about not technical related but business related, and because I follow you on Twitter and you give a lot of great startup advice, and you have a lot of successful initiatives, for example, I mentioned earlier, build sell 30. So maybe you could give us ideas on given that the judging criteria for this challenge is problem solving, ingenuity, and execution and design. What's your advice for coming up with an idea for an Adalo app that given the capabilities and limitations of Adalo, coming up with good startup ideas, or good, not necessarily startup, but good project ideas?
Honestly, it's tough, and I think it's really specific to the person. But a few things are, first off, I would always recommend building for businesses, whether it's small businesses or large businesses. It's very hard to build for people. And I would also look at the other people who are doing it, and if it really think about it in terms of, be realistic about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So for example, one of the most common apps people ask me about is building a delivery app. And today I wanted to do it because I think it's really helpful because it's a really good app to showcase different database things. And I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with tech in the US, but Uber has been profitable for 1 quarter out of the last 12 years. And it's so can you afford to lose money for 12 years? Probably not. So that's probably not a great business idea, because it's something that requires so much money. But if you were to think about something if you wanted to make an app for your hometown or for your neighborhood or something like that, and get small businesses on it, that's something that you absolutely could do, because you are the person who would probably know that best, and you'd be in an excellent position to do that at a cost affordable scale with Adalo. So that's probably what I'd look at. And then in terms of technology, again, I would just try to focus on building an application and getting it out there. Any business that doesn't launch will of course fail. So even if you have less features and you do get it out there, then you are already ahead of somebody who has more features that didn't. And then in terms of design, there's so many good resources online. I like Dribble, Twitter's good, Awards is good. There's a bunch of good websites that have free design stuff. I would just go in there and borrow those designs.
Yeah, I don't mean to put a spotlight on Ray here, and it's very actually interesting because this is the first time I've heard that Uber is only has been like profitable like for 1 month in the last 12 years. So Ray actually won our first hackathon, which is on Glide. Ray, do you mind?
Yeah.
Because like, and what he built was actually an on-demand delivery app on Glide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Ray, do you want to like introduce us to us your app? I don't mean to put you in the spotlight, Ray, but just in case like you.
I hope somebody can prove me wrong. It's one of the ones I get asked for the most, and it's just tough because it's a business I personally would not want to be in, but I could definitely be proved wrong.
No, I'm not. Yeah, so I'm not trying to prove you wrong. I just want you like to meet Ray because he was like our Glide hackathon winner, and yeah, maybe like he actually asked in the chat box if like he can add you on LinkedIn. So I was like imagining maybe he has some questions.
Oh,
Yeah, Ray,
yep.
come on.
Yeah, hi, good evening. So my name is Ray. Actually, I have a on-demand startup. We're category a hyper local. We're focusing on rural, suburb areas, not on highly urbanized areas. So we're actually bridging the gap since here in rural and suburb, there's really a lack of delivery services. We at the first we started by just using WhatsApp, Viber, and Facebook, and then I got introduced to Glide. So uh, I use Glide to create the app. And right now, I think since we started using Glide, I have around 5,000 users, aside from the 10,000 users that I have already um, recorded using our service. So I'm checking on Adalo because Glide has a limitation in terms of purchasing because the payment gateway they're only using Stripe. So I'm looking for other options so that customer can actually purchase real time, because right now we're doing like a cash on delivery. I just created a booking platform, not really an add to cart platform. So
Yeah.
that's how we operate.
Yeah, and if you do just cash on delivery, it's hard to monetize that as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of, yeah, well, first off, you can absolutely add me on LinkedIn, and then if you have any questions, just send me a message and I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Good luck.
Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to put you like there, but I just thought it would be cool for you to like.
Yeah, but I actually agree with Erik that the on-demand delivery space and the ride-hailing space is a bit capital intensive in putting up a startup. That's why when we started, I really don't have any app. It's just more of customers would like to get an item or ask us to purchase them anything, and we're just using WhatsApp, Viber, or Messenger, and I just use integration with Integromat to actually put all the channels into one, so that I don't, since here in the Philippines Facebook is the most used social media platform, so I took advantage of that since it's free. So I'm just I just integrated them into one spreadsheet. So that's the way we operate back then. And then Glide, I mean it got introduced to Glide and they use it, and then I'm checking on other things because since really I also want to check if that's a business model that really sustainable and scalable.
Okay, thank you so much, Ray. I think there's like a couple additional questions in the chat box. So Carlo is asking, for mobile apps, can Adalo access camera and other sensors?
So Adalo, the answer is kind of. So Adalo does have an image picker where the user will press a button and it will ask them, do you want to take this from your gallery or do you want to take a picture? In that sense, they do, but you can't open up the image directly on, or open up the camera on in the app and take a picture in the app. The other thing that's kind of a limitation is you can't really edit photos in Adalo. So you can't like resize them or crop them, things like that. So it's not really the best place for taking pictures. It works well for uploading like a profile picture or a picture of a product, but you don't want to get into it would be difficult to build an Instagram or something where you have a lot of photo editing. In terms of other sensors, GPS is coming out. We don't have access to anything like a gyrometer that can show like if the phone is moving or something like that. So it is limited. I see Jennifer asked, have you ever encountered an app idea that wouldn't be possible on Adalo, or app that would be better on a different platform or framework? I think that this really depends, because there are absolutely apps that you can build better on a different platform. But that's also kind of indicative of, if you have more money, then of course you can also build a better app. So, is it because you used a different platform, or is it because you had more money? Because almost any other platform would cost more money. So it's kind of, which one is it? So to give you an example, like, we built Guest House, one of the websites I showed on Adalo. That uses Supabase as a backend, so it's not the Adalo database. And the reason for that is because we do some complex data queries to show users places they should be staying that we couldn't do in Adalo. But all of the front end, which is kind of like the mobile app that you see on your phone, that is all in Adalo. Could we build that elsewhere for better? Absolutely, but it would have cost probably 3 to 5 times as much. So the other platform I really like that we do build apps on is called Flutterflow. It is an awesome platform. I would just also preface that it is very technically difficult to use. So it's not, I would not call it a no-code platform. I'd call it a low-code platform. So hopefully that helps. Krisha said, is there a ready-made e-commerce template that we can already start from? I suppose the user journey of most e-commerce is fairly the same. I think there might be some templates online. So I would first definitely Google Adalo templates. They do have some templates on their website. I think it's adalo.com/app templates. And there's quite a few on there. There's a real estate template, Facebook, product hunt. There is an e-commerce app on there. So I think that answers your question. You might need to change how it works. So I would definitely have a look at that. Marissa said, hi, Eric, is it possible to have a doc regarding the DB model for this app we're doing? I'd love to study more about the DB model and relationships. I don't have one here for this one that we're doing. That was off the top of my head. And I'm also not going to search for it live right now, but if you do go to our YouTube channel, I think if you probably search like Adalo Flywheel YouTube, you should be able to find it. I most certainly have quite a few videos about the database models on there. There are a few good ones about doing app walkthroughs where we talk about this, and then definitely a few for the ordering process. And I have one where I really specifically went through like carts, orders, line items, and kind of like amendments or I forgot, kind of like add-ons for products as well. So definitely go check that out. That is one of the biggest things that people get hung up on for ordering apps. So hopefully that's helpful.
Okay, great, thanks. So does anyone have any other questions? Otherwise, it's time for Eric to ask questions, and you can a no-code PH shirt if you how do you want to do this, Eric? Like maybe should they be able to type first, or should they raise their hand using the reactions in the chat, and then they'll go live and then answer their question. Like they'll turn their camera on and like answer their question. How do you want to do it?
Well, I think that you have to pick who was first. So what? Maybe they type first. Okay.
Okay, time first. So everyone, are you ready to win a No Code PH shirt? Okay, I think they're okay. Yes. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So first question, guys. The first person who types the question, the answer to Erik's question wins the prize. So there's 3 shirts to be given away. There's 3 questions that's gonna be asked. Okay. First question.
How many business categories can a business have? Oh, geez, that was fast.
Okay, great. Jenny, no, so who was first? Yeah, Jennifer was first. Yay, congratulations, Jennifer. I'll PM you a link to a tally form so that you can fill it up regarding your free shirt. Okay, let's go to the next question. Where
did we get the templates from that we used? A tougher one.
I think that was like kind of difficult because no one is answering. Okay, come on, everyone. Ooh.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that was fast, I guess. Like so like, does Dion win by saying Adalo templates, or does Krisha win for like the URLing?
I think Dion wins. Adalo clonable kits is definitely yeah.
Okay, congrats, Dion. I'll also message you the link. Okay, last question. Come on, guys. It's your last chance to, well, not necessarily the last chance, but for tonight, it's your last chance to win a shirt. So get your thinking caps on. Okay.
Oh, I have to think about which what my next question is. I don't know if I have another good one. Let's see. What is the prefix? This is a little bit hard, but how would you have a user dial a phone number from Adalo? Oh, there we go. Carlo. That was very fast.
Okay, wow.
Crystal, you've got a pretty impressive group here that was actually paying attention. So
yeah, I was like also like surprised. Wow, they paid they paid attention, like down to the last detail. They kind of remember. So that's really.
Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe Michael said it first. I don't know that the order you can see these in, because I feel like it changed on me. I see Michael as the first one on that list, but.
Yeah, Michael is also the first one on my list. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Okay, so like I guess that's the end. No one has like asked follow-up questions or anything. Does anyone have any other follow-up questions or something before we end tonight? Okay, so let's give our speaker a round of applause, please, a virtual round of applause. We just want to say thank you for your spending your Friday night with us, and like teaching us all these things about Adalo. Like, we appreciate it, especially like the little tips and tricks. Some of them I didn't even know, or like I forgot. So it was like really cool to learn from you. Yeah, so thank you. Oh, okay, I guess like Carlo has just one last question, and I think we could end with that because it's a very interesting question. Carlo asks, more personal, what is the most difficult app you have made in Adalo?
That is a good question. I would say that guest house app we just built. We used an external database. It's all external users. Adalo is the front end. It runs with SQL queries. We integrated a background check service into it, so we used custom API calls for that. There's subscription payments, there's one-time payments, there's automated payouts for landlords. It was quite an extensive application, so that would definitely be the most complicated in Adalo.
Yeah, so cool. It's just so cool when people like keep pushing the boundaries of like Adalo. So yeah. So I guess okay, Barista also has one more question, which is like, it's possible to use an external database and just use this for the front end only.
Yep, absolutely. So you can do external collections in Adalo where you reference a data collection that's external. So you could use Airtable. You can even use APIs for that. Like we have one where we use a government website that's like a list of electric vehicle charging stations. And then there's another one called external users, and that's where you use a database and authentication that's external. So you could connect your Adalo app to like a bubble app, for instance.
Okay, I guess that's the end of our questions. And so thank you so much, Erik, and thank you also to the audience. Our audience was not that active tonight, but I feel like they made up for it by like answering the questions like boom, like whoa, like they were really paying attention. They were quiet, but they were like quietly listening like very well. I think it showed when they answered it in the questions. So like maybe you want to like promote like your stuff, like maybe you want to promote your Twitter, your Build Sell 30 or whatever you want. So where can they follow you, or maybe reach out to you for any like questions?
Yep. So you can reach me at Twitter. My handle is Erik Goins, ErikGoins HQ. You can message me there. I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can also just reach us through the Flywheel website. That's flywheel.so. And always happy to help there. Any email, anything you submit to that website will go directly to me. So I will very happily respond to that.
Okay, thank you so much, Erik, for spending Friday night with us, for teaching us so much. And I think on behalf of the audience, I think they had a really great time and they learned a lot from you, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, and thanks for doing this, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you also very much. We're very thankful. Okay, everyone, just last minute reminders, which is that we still have upcoming workshops. So workshop number 3 is by Shantanu. He's also another Adalo expert. Workshop number 4 is from the Philippines, Daniel Galang of CompLab. He's also an Adalo expert. And okay, I'm sorry. I made like a wrong typo there, but the last workshop is by Mitch Schwartz of PragmaFlow. And I think Erik here will agree with me that Chantano, Daniel, and Mitch are all really great Adalo developers. So you could also learn from them, and we hope to see you there. And also,
absolutely.
Yep, and there are also group mentoring calls. So Dayon and I are available from Mondays to Thursdays to answer your questions. Like if you're stuck, for example, and you can't figure out something, Dayon and I can do live coaching, mentoring, whatever you need to finish your app in time for the by the deadline, which is April 25th. And so again, the deadline of project submission is April 25th. And on the 26th, we're going to announce the top 10. And then on 27 to 28, you get to have individual mentoring calls with Cedric Atienza. Once again, he plays second place in an ODNC3 demo day, so he knows his stuff regarding pitching. And you can ask for help regarding how to give a good demo day pitch, assuming you make it to the top 10. And of course, April 29th is our demo day. Yay! So thank you everyone for coming, and I guess that's it for tonight.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks.